Well, welcome everyone. What is it, about noon on day 3? And I'm just going to lose this, so I'll put it in my pocket before I do. So noon on day 3. Joining us today, Frank van der Sant, Chief Commercial Officer for APCOA, Europe's largest parking company. And of course, Killian Frank from our product management team and the HERE Navigation on Demand ecosystem development.
Correct.
So as we sort of imagine what a new reality looks like, imagine a world in which you're in your car, you're driving along to your favorite location, and in that environment we have not only the navigation, but we also have the ability to navigate to parking. So let's get started with our discussion. So Frank, talk to me a little bit about the sort of angst behind parking. It's not the most favorite experience, you know, for really anybody, and certainly in these sort of hyper-congested environments, even more so. So talk to me a little about your business and how you see consumers being impacted from a parking perspective.
Yeah, the parking experience in general is not really a positive attitude for most of the people driving. It's a very stressful experience when people look for a parking place. We use this from a lot of consumer research that it's stress before they start the journey, but also especially when it comes to the parking. And then there's also everybody feels parking is too expensive, so it's not really a positive thing. What we want to try now is basically turn it into a more positive experience, make it more convenient, and this is via our digital services, our digital platform Flow, which is part of this navigation on demand platform also. The idea is basically that to make the parking experience a better experience for the consumer in a way that, because today the normal use case is people drive into the city and first of all look for an on-street parking place. But we've seen it in Oslo, in Milan, in London. We also see it now in Germany. On-street parking gets more and more suppressed by the cities. In the context of smarter cities, they want to give back the on-street parking to the people for more bicycle lanes, for more nature. And then people need to go into the off-street car parks, and then the hassle normally starts. And that's why we developed the APCOA Flow platform to make this much more convenient.
Yeah, and you've certainly done a lot to help in that, creating that sort of frictionless experience. Mobile applications to help in terms of that, flow, as you were talking about. You've got the RFIDs to sort of streamline the entry, exit, and the sort of payment processes. So fantastic job there. But you've been working on something else, haven't you? So you've been taking that experience and really reimagining where that engagement may occur. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
So yeah, what we created first was an app for the smartphones, where you register yourself, and then you have a subscription within all our garages. So we operate more than 10,000 sites all over Europe, and you basically then drive to the barrier. The barrier recognizes you, as you mentioned, either via an RFID tag or via a number plate recognition. The barrier opens, you drive into the car park, and when you go to your point of interest, you come back, you drive out of the garage, the barrier opens again, and you basically have nothing to do. The payment processing is done in the background, and you don't have to go to the payment display machine to pay for your parking. You don't have to worry about anything. You just drive in, drive out.
Great. And Killian, I know you've been working with APCOA.
Yep.
You've been working on a different way of approaching those embedded navigation systems that are sort of prevalent across, vehicles. So talk to us a little bit about the, sort of where or how the environment's shifting within the vehicle, and then where the work that you've been doing with APCOA fits in.
I mean, we have been shipping navigation solutions for a long time to the market, and with our latest solution, HERE Navigation on Demand, we have now turned navigation into a software as a service offering. And as a matter of fact, that enables us to integrate third-party services, just like APCOA Flow, right into the navigation application. So that the user in the end, instead of having to juggle between something that is going on a mobile and something that is going on in his car, would have a seamless experience on a single screen. Right? So it is low distraction, it is easy to use, and the beauty of our navigation as a service platform is that these services can be rolled out to vehicles at any point in their life cycle. So if an OEM is starting to ship the first vehicles with a specific feature scope, and maybe the APCOA Flow service may not yet be included, they can basically from the HERE Navigation on Demand backend add this service at a later stage and then roll it out to the existing fleet of vehicles in the field.
So help me understand that. So we've got the embedded navigation system. We've now shifted the dynamic here to one where we have a service that can deliver what the OEM provides, but also bring in third-party providers like APCOA to bring their services to those OEMs and their consumers.
The thing about APCOA Flow is it's a perfect example of a location-based service that you would typically consume of a mobile, right? APCOA have taken this, I mean, parking is a rather brick-and-mortar experience, right? You go there, you get a ticket, you have to later go to a machine, pay the ticket, then get into your car. And they have digitalized this experience, right? But it is currently consumed on a mobile. And this is basically where we saw an opportunity that this great service, right, could be delivered to our to the OEM's end user, right from or right within the navigation application.
Yeah, and Frank, talk to me about sort of what opportunity you saw in taking these services. You've got a deployment model, you've got it on the mobile device. So what opportunities did you see in bringing your service into that infotainment experience?
For us, it's the ideal case, because I think normally when you start a journey, you type in your navigation system a point of interest, then why switching to a mobile phone just for the parking? So if it's end-to-end included in the navigation system, that's for us the ideal case, and we also know this from the consumer research, and that's for us. Although we are the largest parking operator in Europe, we cannot deal with all the OEMs. That's why HERE, as a kind of aggregator between us and all the OEMs, is a fantastic partner. That's why when the idea was brought up by HERE, we said, okay, yes, let's do it. And I think the system, the software as a service platform is so flexible that it just took us basically 4 weeks to include our APCOA Flow platform into the software as a service platform from HERE. So it's
there was not much to do on our end. We basically provided them our HERE Navigation on Demand service package SDK, and their developers took it and turned that existing service from the mobile into an HNOD service package. And now we can make it accessible to OEMs globally for evaluation.
That's absolutely astronomical. 4 weeks to take your IP, a well-established application, and effectively rebuild it on a new platform, the IVI experience. So fantastic. I want to sort of explore a little bit here, Killian. We've got the opportunity to sort of bring incremental partners now to OEMs. What's the feedback been from the OEM side in terms of the value add that partners that are bringing, parking applications from the largest European provider, how are they seeing that and the benefits to their consumers?
So the reception is generally very positive. I mean, we introduced the concept orally last year, and we had an example, but at that time we did not show a real-world service. So together with APCOA, we are now able to showcase the complete experience, and that really brought the message across in a much better way. Because for the OEM, it is quite of a challenge, because whenever you say you want to roll out, let's say, parking in a specific region, the reality you face is that you may have to deal with several parking vendors. Because just like APCOA, they may have a footprint in certain regions, but may not cover certain other regions or certain countries within a region. So the OEM will ultimately be required to partner with more than one player. And this is where we kind of lower the entry hurdle, because we now provide a solution that allows them to engage in these partnerships and reduce the development effort.
Absolutely, and I can see that they have the option, don't they? You know, they offer it as a core service, you know, value add, or offer it as a premium service. You know, from your perspective, how's the reception been from the OEM side?
I think very good. We also discussed it so before with some of the OEMs, and this what we present here is basically just a start. It's entry, exit, payment. But the other features we are discussing now is pre-booking, offering individual bay parking, so you all pre-book a parking space next to the elevator or next to the shop you want to go to in a shopping center. Reserve charging points. Because you know, parking seems to be a very basic service, but it's basically the essence of everything. So, and then when you want to charge an electric vehicle, it includes parking, and all those services can now be put on top of it, and then also being commercialized by the OEMs. So we in Europe do something like more than 1 billion parking transactions, and some of them are not paid today, not paid parking transactions, but I think 200 million of those are paid parking transactions. And if you can offer additional services, there's also a commercial benefit for the OEM in that, no? They can upsell this.
Totally get it, and you're raising an interesting point here, because now because you mentioned that they have an opportunity to commercialize this, to make money. So, from your perspective, you know, you've got an application that you're delivering. This represents a new channel for you, doesn't it?
Yes.
A new channel and set of relationships. Really an ecosystem play from your perspective. How important is it to have strong participation in ecosystems? How important is it to be, you know, what are the characteristics that you see as important as an ecosystem player?
So at the end of the day, our business is we rent big parking garages from real estate investors, and then we need to drive revenue in those garages. That's why every channel we can get cars into our garages is important for us. So we are not excluding any of those channels. We started with our own app. Now with the navigation systems, we believe this is a much more convenient channel for us. We believe in that. We also see other use cases with, as I mentioned, with regard to electric charging, last mile delivery in our garages, for logistic companies. It's a very big ecosystem. At the end of the day, everybody goes from A to B, and he needs to park at A, and he needs to park at B. And we know that every car on average stands 22 hours per day. So we believe we can play a very important role in every ecosystem which relates to cars.
I agree, and Killian, just one final question for you. In terms of, you know, you're leading the work around, you know, helping to build that ecosystem around this HERE Navigation on Demand experience. Talk to me a little bit about the possibilities that you see for others to come into that ecosystem and deliver sort of incremental value in parallel with APCOA and with the OEMs.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we are an open platform, right? So the HNOD Service Package SDK is available as of now. So any developer could download it from the HERE developer portal and start developing as we speak. And we have also identified multiple domains in which, let's say, the in-car accessibility of services may be of relevance to drivers. That is, for example, charging and fueling, that is parking, very important, roadside assistance, food accommodation. So within these domains, we are currently reaching out to partners, primarily in Europe and North America, but at a later stage also outside of these regions.
Fantastic, lots of possibilities. So let me sort of pivot. If anybody is looking for more information, first of all, I think there's the capabilities of HERE Navigation on Demand to understand that platform and what's possible there. Certainly in conjunction with that, there's the ties into, of course, safer driving and capabilities around that, and the in-vehicle experiences, those IVI experiences that we heard about. But Frank, you also mentioned the conversation about the curb, and our next session is going to focus on an experience in the city of Chicago with CityTech. We're going to learn more about the curb and what cities are doing to approach that. So you may want to stick around for that. It's a fascinating conversation, and we'll be getting into more details in just a few minutes. So listen, I want to thank you both for your time. Really appreciate it.
For having us.
And thank you.
Thank you.